What is going on, everybody? Listen, Sixers get the W against the Nets today, 123-117. Joel Embiid going off for 37 points, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but man, Joel Embiid put on a clinic. I don't know about y'all, but I enjoyed watching the game, as scary as it was at times, I'll say. It was a little frightening at the end there, but what are your guys' thoughts? I'm going to start with you, Dibes. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Let's go. KD sucks. KD sucks.
Oh, God. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that.
No, man. KD's awesome. Good win. Let's go.
How about you, Tiago?
Yeah, you gotta dunk on KD while you still can, right?
Exactly.
Oh, man.
When he's on the court, it's a different ball game.
So here's the thing, though. This is exactly what I think of that. You say that to KD now. Then later in the playoffs, when the Sixers are matching up against the Nets later in the playoffs, he's going to come back. He's going to remember that. He's going to come back. All of a sudden, he's going to be dropping 50 on somebody. And we're going to sit there like, we probably shouldn't have said that.
Hey, Justin. I don't think the Sixers team is scared of anybody.
No.
I don't think they care who's on the court.
Absolutely not.
Are you going to – yes, you tell me Brooklyn has more talent than the Sixers? Absolutely. There's no question about it. The Sixers teams, they know who they are. They win on defense. They're tough to play on defense. And they're going to give KD hell, man. Listen, there's lots to talk about tonight. You know, Kyrie's a monster, man. He kind of exposed the Sixers' perimeter defense, and it makes you wonder, what they would look like in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But, man, the Sixers ain't going to back down from anybody. So KD wants to come in and think he can just roll through the Sixers and win in 5. It's not going to be like that, man. It's just not going to be like that. So, yeah, KD does suck.
I was a little disappointed we didn't get KD because Ben hasn't faced Kevin Durant in 2 years. It's been 2 years. Yeah. So I'm really excited to get that matchup. And we know Ben has been floating a lot defensively, but I guess we got to wait.
He played 27 minutes in a 30-point blowout against the Timberwolves last night. You're telling me they're not trying to dodge the Sixers?
And here comes the national narrative.
Well, here's the thing, though. There's one point, Justin. The Sixers play a tough, physical brand of defense. Brooklyn doesn't want to put KD around that. Listen, the rubber is going to meet the road eventually, man. You're going to have to dress up and suit up. So I was disappointed at KD, man. I thought he would show up tonight and ball out.
What a fraud.
Yeah, and
oh my goodness. Listen, before we keep going at KD, apparently, according to the Nets, he is not going to be playing back-to-backs for the rest of the season because he just came back from being off the 23-game stint.
So play tonight. Why play against the Timberwolves?
He played a back-to-back yesterday. That's what they're saying. He played a day yesterday.
Right.
I can't answer
Why
that.
not rest against Minnesota and play tonight?
Did anyone get flashbacks of 2001 when the Sixers, I think, who did they beat? It was the Bucks or somebody, and that was when they went to the finals. And I
was 2 years old then, so I don't know.
You heard the entire entire crowd start chanting "Beat LA." That was a crazy similar vibe I just got with an upcoming matchup coming here, the Sixers versus Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals. Did you? And I don't know if you guys got that, but that was my total vibe from that.
This is one of the games where you really felt the crowd was into it for the first time since before the pandemic. You could really sense the atmosphere. It felt like a playoff atmosphere. And I can't wait, man. This crowd should be bigger by the time the playoff starts.
It's going to be awesome.
All you need is 8,000 people in that building, 10,000 people in that building, and home court matters. So the Sixers did something tonight. It's going to go a long way to locking their home court advantage. It's going to matter in the postseason.
It was the Bucks. Yeah, it was the Bucks.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So let's move on to not talk about 2001. Let's talk about 2021. 20 years ago, showing your age there, Dibes, a little bit, showing your age. It's all right. It's all right. But let's really get into this game. Joel Embiid, I said 37 earlier. It was 39 points, 13 rebounds, 2 blocks, 3 of 6 from 3-point territory with 10 free throws. No fouls either. No fouls for Embiid. So a clean game in that regard for him. Definitely fun to watch. You guys, what do you guys think about JoJo's game tonight?
You want to go, Tiago?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was all about navigating the Nets defense. So Jordan was playing in the paint, and he was letting Joel through his staying the perimeter and three-point line. And I thought that Embiid navigated that equation really, really well. So he took a couple of three-pointers, felt that his shot was good, took a couple more, hit, I think, three-pointers in the game. But then at some point, he's like, listen, I need to get in the paint and do my work. And we talked about this in the Dallas game. Brooklyn does not have a guy who can defend Joel Embiid. And we saw it tonight with DeAndre Jordan in the paint, waiting for Embiid. It was the same thing we've seen with the move with Embiid over the course of the season. It is very tough to play this guy when he's coming downhill. He gets in your body. He gets into the rim. He makes it extremely tough. And when his shot's falling, it wasn't all there, but oftentimes I felt like DeAndre had to come up. And as soon as you take that step up, it's game over. So, it's another masterful performance by Embiid, another great game. And we can talk about what that means for the MVP race. But, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Dibes, what I want to get in with you is about Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris's game tonight, man. Dude.
First of all, Joel.
Yeah, talk about Joel.
All right, you can talk about Joel.
We'll talk about Tobias Harris in a second, man. All right. It's really coming into this game. It was really the matchup I was looking at was Embiid versus DeAndre Jordan. Jordan, we all know that Embiid struggles with bigger, stronger bigs. Coming into this game in 6 games, Embiid only shot 18 of 53 from the field against this guy in the last 6 games. You look at this game, Embiid hit a jumper off 1 foot that was beautiful there in the first quarter. He had 10 points in 9 minutes. He started the game 3 of 9. He was getting a little handled in that first quarter, but really you saw Joel Embiid get locked in that second and third quarter. Really after that dunk, he baited DeAndre Jordan, had an amazing dunk there with like 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. And he just had 10 straight points. 10 straight points to finish the second quarter. He had 16 points in the third quarter, 7 of 12 from starting at 1 point, 3 of 9 from the field. He hit his 7 of the next 12 buckets there. You saw an incredible Euro step, acrobatic and one finish by Embiid that no 7-footer has any right making that shot. It was absolutely ridiculous. Joel Embiid had 27 points between the second and third quarter. At one point, he only had 1 shot in the fourth quarter. We'll talk about that for sure. But Joel Embiid was terrific. Tobias Harris, man. I mean, what more can you say about Tobias Harris? You saw him really started to click in that second quarter. 13 points in the second quarter. But the biggest thing about Tobias Harris that we have said on this show so many times, again and again and again, is his defense. You saw him block/strip Kyrie. You saw him block at least Johnson. Really, for me, Tobias Harris's defense was the true standout. You saw him just initiate contact. You saw him play physically. It's just such an improvement from 2019 to 2021. Like that is it. The defense improvement of Tobias Harris has to be one of the biggest reasons that the Sixers have a legit shot. Not only is he among the league leaders in ISO scoring and pick and roll as a ball handler, points per possession, but his defense is just everything. You saw him body Kyrie on switches. This guy does it all, man. This guy does it all.
Yeah, it's
not even. Yeah, sorry, real quick. It's not even just like the defense. It's all ultimate like efficiency from Tobias today. It's like 26 points on 17 shots, 11 of 17, 2 for 3 from the three-point territory. Like you can't ask for much more than this guy. You really can't. Like he's given you all that you want out of him. And go ahead, Tiago.
I mean, that's just the key point right there. So with Kyrie Irving on the court, you have to expect at some point you're going to get switched up on Kyrie. And we saw like how hard this guy used to get to defend. I mean, we saw Ben Simmons had a tough time with him. Thibault had a tough time with him. And I thought that Tobias Harris really, in a couple possessions, did a really good job with just staying in front, not fouling, and then using his long limbs, his long arms to try to poke the ball away. That is such an important part of playoff basketball because, as you guys know, like in the playoffs, it's about picking your matchups, identifying who the poorest defenders on the court, and just going at it. And Tobias, in his time in Philadelphia, has transcended from a minus defender to a plus defender. And it's been quite a remarkable journey. I think that is one of the most critical points of tonight, is to see, okay, if I have Kyrie out there, who can I trust to handle him? And Tobias, DG, they show that they can handle them a little bit on certain possessions. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Sixers navigate that in the playoffs, because, with Kyrie and Harden, it complicates things much further. But I thought Tobias had a phenomenal defensive game, like Chris said. Yeah,
I completely agree. And now I really want to hit on Ben Simmons tonight. Because Ben Simmons, like we said, like you just said, Ben Simmons did have a hard time on Kyrie tonight. But ultimately, Ben Simmons had a great game, in my opinion. 17 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 6 of 11 from the field with a block and 3 steals. Obviously had some cheap fouls during this game a few times, debatable based on refs. Obviously, refs weren't amazing tonight, in my opinion. But something I really want to get into is the Dwight Howard not being in the lineup, Ben Simmons playing that backup center tonight with the shooting lineup around him. I really enjoyed watching that tonight. I think that was great. And I kind of expected that to happen once Dwight was out, but I really love watching Simmons run the 5 in those lineups. What are your guys' thoughts on Simmons' game tonight? How about Tiago? You go first with that.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. It's that second unit. It was the same thing against Dallas, so I think that Doc wants to get him more on the ball, specific with that second unit. And I thought he was masterful, man. Like, there was a run in the second quarter, at the end of the first quarter, and a run in the third quarter. He was really, really good offensively. He really picked the spots, didn't turn the ball over, knew how to attack. And I think tonight what you saw is the advantage of having a 6'10" point guard, right? Because you got to match up in the post with this guy. And a lot of times it meant Kyrie Irving on him. And that created all types of problems for Brooklyn defensively. You got to throw doubles. Then you got Joel kick out pass in the perimeter, or you got to cut in Tobias Harris to occupy the space behind. So you saw what a 6'10" point guard does offensively, even when he's not scoring, which is another critical point of how the Sixers got offense tonight. He was really good, man. There's not much you can say about him. So
I love what I saw from Ben Simmons. I thought his defense was absolutely terrific. There was a stretch there, I think in that third quarter-ish, where he made back-to-back absolutely incredible defensive player of the year plays. But everything boils down to, for me, at least personally, turnovers. You look at Ben Simmons' last 3 games, 87 minutes of Ben Simmons' last 3 games here, 19 assists to 2 turnovers. He had 0 turnovers in this game until very end here in the fourth quarter, when it was just a complete you know what. But when Ben Simmons is moving the ball, setting everyone up on the perimeter, and not turning over the ball, that's when the Sixers offense is clicking. That's when it's most efficient. And he has done so. He's struggled there with turnovers recently, not these last 3 games. Again, 2 turnovers, 87 minutes. What was it? 19 assists. Let's go.
And speaking of not turning the ball over, no, go ahead, Tiago.
He made a play towards the end. I think it was at the end of the third quarter where DG had a miss in the corner and he tried to throw an outlet pass. He intercepted the ball with his left, like almost going down, kept his balance, bodied Joe Harris as the ball was still kind of juggling, got up, and then made a pass to Embiid for an easy putback. It was one of those defensive plays. You're like, how does a guy do something like this in such a tight space under so much pressure? I mean, these defensive plays are stuff you just simply do not see in the NBA. It was a remarkable play. It was one of the most impressive plays I've seen him make as defender, which says quite a lot, man. Because as you guys know, this guy's a highlight reel on defense. So that tells you what Brian said. Ben brought great energy. That's exactly it, man. I mean, a play like that is 2 points going the other way. Now you're back, 2 points this way. So.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing I want to get into that Dibes just said about not turning the ball over too much, Shake Milton. Milton tonight, great game, 15 points, 4 assists, 6 of 8 shooting, 1 block, 1 steal, 3 for 4 from 3, which you haven't seen that as often as you have. So great night for him shooting, but only 1 turnover for the night. That to me, he had an amazing game tonight. If he can give those kind of numbers when George Hill gets into this lineup, especially for the shooting aspect of his and the scoring, that's going to be amazing. So what are you guys' thoughts about Shake, not only this game, but just recently?
Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, 40% from three since April, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's big time. I mean, that's what you want from Shake. I've been down on Shake for most of the second half of the year.
Yeah.
But fourth quarter of this game, I haven't tweeted out. I thought it was his best quarter of the season. Like you said, making the right decisions on the ball is like 90% of the equation with Shake Milton. And one turnover, finding the passers, hitting easy shots from the outside. I mean, that's his game, man. That's going to be his game when George Hill was on the lineup. So it's exactly what he wanted from Shake. And I thought until things kind of flipped at the fourth quarter, man, like that was one of his best stretches as a Sixer here. So good game for him.
Absolutely nailed it. Everyone wants to harp on the negative with Ben Simmons. Don't stop. Just stop. Let's talk about Shake. Let's talk about Shake emerging over these last 15 games. You talked about March and April there, Tiago. Look at his catch and shoot numbers over the last 15 games. He's near 50%, 46.2% catch and shoot from three over the last 15 games from Shake Milton. That is a major, major statistic. I don't know what that means. Who's going to be in the lineup come crunch time, whether it's George Hill or Shake Milton? That is a major question that we need to see. I love how ESPN threw a nugget that we could possibly see George Hill here at the end of the week, which would be so fun. But my goodness, Shake Milton looked cool as the other side of the pillow. He looked great.
I have never heard anyone say that before.
That was a Chris Berman quote from way back in the 90s, wasn't it? Or sorry, Stu Scott.
He said, "As cool as the other side of the pillow." I was waiting for cool as a fan, just like something else. I love that. I love it. But like Chris Moore right here said, "How about that deep three he made, dude? That deep three. I honestly, I feel like." This year I haven't been as confident with Shake's three as I was last year. Like last year, if Shake was shooting it, he became one of those guys that I was like, okay, if he's shooting it, it's going in. Like I felt like it was going in every time. Now that kind of feeling's gone away this year. I'm hoping I can get back to that feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm hoping Seth Curry, especially when Seth Curry is struggling so much from three here over the last couple of months. Trying to find what Shake Milton shooting here. 56.3% from three over the last 10 games from Shake Milton. So
really?
56.3% from three in the catch and shoot over the last 10 games. So my goodness, this guy has absolutely turned up. And it's everything. You talk about fit with Ben, you talk about fit with Ben. And we talk about Dwight and what that means with Anthony Tolliver and Mike Scott, and Shake Milton is showing up here over the last month or so. Gotta love it.
Definitely. And do you guys want to get into Kyrie a little bit? Because Kyrie's game today was just ridiculous. 37 points on 22 shots. 22 shots, and that was in 33 minutes. Like he was scary, making some crazy shots today, in my opinion. Yeah. But Tiago's making a face, so I want to know what Tiago has to say.
Man, that's the face of a guy who's trying to understand how the Sixers can defend these quicker guards.
Yeah.
Because they've always struggled with, the Kembas, the Kyries, the Aaron Fox, and the guy we have a difficult time with. If I'm watching this game and I step away from this game after what I saw, I'm not even remotely putting Ben Simmons on Kyrie because I feel like that's kind of a wasted matchup.
Yeah, I've always thought Ben Simmons on James Harden, because every time he's guarded James Harden, he's had done a pretty good job of it. So I always thought Matisse on Kyrie, and that to me made him look he was making him take tough shots, and I think that's all you can do with guys like that at some points. So I'm honestly kind of okay with how just Matisse did on him today.
So here's the thing, like I'm watching this game, I'm thinking, okay, the guy who is going to go off in a playoff series is going to be Kyrie.
Yeah,
it's not going to be Harden. It may be, it might be. I mean, it might be Harden.
I think
they all can go off. Let me take that back. They can all go off because they're all amazingly talented players. But I'm watching them like, all right, maybe the Sixers can kind of harness Harden, throw some stuff at KD. But I don't really think they have an answer for Kyrie, man.
Wow.
I mean, do you guys see an answer out there? Maybe Danny Green can harness some, old magic, but he's the guy who is really scary to watch. And he does a lot. Not only is a scorer, but the passing. They try to throw some hard traps at him, high and easy lobs to DJ. So it's going to be interesting to see how they defend on him, man. It was scary. It was scary to watch.
His handle was just
oh my
God,
on center stage tonight. His handle. There were so many moments tonight where Matisse had him dead to rights. Danny Green had him dead to rights. It didn't matter. Kyrie got whatever he wanted. It was so impressive. As a non-Kyrie Irving fan, that guy looked absolutely lights out tonight. So there's a lot of talk about how to battle the Brooklyn Nets. It really kind of, I think, evolves around like pick your poison and let one guy beat you and try and focus on everyone else. And that's kind of the question. Is it Kyrie? Is it James? Is it KD? I don't know. That is the hell of a question, man, because Kyrie just was in the zone, man. That was impressive.
Yeah, I want to see George Hill. So is George Hill somebody who can maybe just another body can throw at him, make his life tough? He's just too quick for Ben. Like, it's just too quick for Ben, man.
E-Money said it right here. He said, we got to start George Hill when he's healthy for Kyrie.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see that matchup. I do think it's a possibility once you get late in games, especially against a team like that. I don't think George Hill is going to be that guy that you stick in most of the game. Like, I don't think he's going to be that, because I think you'd rather have Curry out there at times as the game's going on, just purely based on off ball, like running around picks and shooting. Not that George Hill can't do that. It's just that's not exactly what he is. So I think it's going to be more spot minutes and then at the end of games with a guy like that. But I mean,
it boils down for me. It boils down for me. Seth Curry has to be more than 1 from 3.
I agree.
That's it. Like, that is it. If Seth Curry is going to give you that, then there's got to be an alternative, because that's not good enough against this backcourt.
Can I share my Seth Curry theory with you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think he's actually overpaid for what he's doing on this team.
Really?
I think you can get what they want out of Seth Curry. You can get out of a guy like Ben McLemore for like $1 million. You just catch and shoot. You don't do much within the offense. The contract is a value contract, but he's not JJ. He's not that dynamic of a shooter off motion. He's mostly like a stationary shooter who does some ball handling. They may want to use that contract and flip it while there's still value in the offseason for somebody who fits that catch and shoot around Joel, around Ben role, because
here's my only gripe to what you're saying there is that he does, like, I think he does a lot more than what JJ used to do here when it comes to like being able to dribble the ball and actually like score off of Joel when he's running around picks. Like, it doesn't only have to run out there and shoot a 3 or shoot a mid-range. You can also take a guy off the dribble and go in, hit a floater and stuff like that. I agree with you. I don't think he's giving you as much as you want from the catch and shoot spot if that's all they want him to do, but I don't think that's all they want him to do.
So I agree with you. Like, he has more individual skills than JJ, but I mean, you watch the Sixers offense, 75% of it is Joel, Tobias, back your guy up, kick the ball out. So Seth, his role in his offense is really around catch and shoot, right? It's catch the ball, shoot, hit transition. And man, there are a ton of guys in the NBA who can do that for like $2 to $3 million. So at $8 million, it becomes a little bit too much. So I'll be interested to see what they do with that contract in the offseason. I'm not to say the guy's a bad player. He hasn't had a particularly great season, but they may be able to flip that contract where there's some value and get some other complementary pieces around the team.
What you're saying is definitely interesting. I just don't know if they would do that, just because that contract, I agree with you, it's not maybe amazing for the production he's giving you, but just having a guy there who's a threat of one of the best three-point shooters ever in that starting lineup at that $10 million mark, which is pretty cheap for being one of the best shooters in the league. Like, I just think I think that value, that contract value of having that kind of number of shooting is just kind of too high to get rid of for just a few guys who might be able to play roles a little bit, maybe a little bit of a margin better. Yeah. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know.
Yeah, the players will tell the story for sure.
I agree. So does anybody have any more any final thoughts on this game before we get into players of the game, even though I think it's obvious who the player of the game is?
Final thoughts. KD sucks. KD sucks. What else?
I did not sign. I did not sign to go sign this.
I did not say that. I didn't say that.
Did you? No, I'm just playing. KD's amazing. Did you see his initial reaction though on the bench when he's like wearing the hoodie with the pajamas and he goes like a
No, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Like literally when they started chanting it, he really like what? Like he's like, I'm not even on the court. What are you talking about? Like
yeah, that's one of those like post-bear situations. Like you don't mess with KD, man. That guy has daggers. That guy has he's one of those. He will hold a grudge and beat your ass.
Yeah, and we will see what happens. But so obviously, I think it's obvious who the player of the game is. But Tiago, who is your player of the game tonight?
I got to go with my man Dwight Howard. No, I'm just joking.
the clap. 100 claps from the bench. That's what he got. 100 claps from the bench. 50 stand-ups and pumping the arm, all that stuff. That's what Dwight Howard gave you.
Those orange pants are fly, no question. I could see it from my house, and I'm like 30 miles away from the center. No, my player of the game is Mike Scott. No, I'm just joking. That's not either. It's got to be Embiid, man. The Sixers, the one thing that was abundantly clear tonight was that the Sixers can get any bucket, anytime, anywhere against Brooklyn. So I think scoring against that team is not going to be a problem. Yes, KD Harden can make things a little bit harder on defense, but I don't think he switches or swings their defense from, mediocre to bad to great. Like I don't think it's that type of swing with those two on the court. So watching tonight and just watching how these teams played throughout the season, I'm comfortable the Sixers can hang 100, 110 pretty easily on this team in the postseason. So, and a big part of that is Embiid, man. So, you need him healthy for the postseason. He's going to have a tough game against the Clippers on Friday, another tough matchup. And we talked about this after the Dallas game, man. Don't put the MVP title on Jokic's name yet, because this guy's coming. He's coming, man. He is coming. He is coming.
Yes, sir. You can go ahead, Dibes.
I'm going to roll. You stole it from me, Tiago. Of course, it's Joel, but I'm going to go Tobias Harris, 26 points, 11 of 17 from the floor, 2 blocks. Again, watching this guy get switched on Kyrie and hold his own, block Kyrie, that is super, super impressive. To see him go from last year to this year is everything. And when you're talking about everything, you're talking about ISO scoring in the playoffs. Again, 1.11 points per possession ISO scoring this season, way above last year, 56.5% field goal percentage, nearly 90 percentile ISO scoring for Tobias Harris in ISO situations. That is so critical. That's what I was watching against the Brooklyn Nets. You see, they have a lot of guys with length, and seeing Tobias Harris, thrive there, having an efficient night offensively and getting buckets, although I don't know where he was there in the fourth quarter for a stretch. That was weird. But anyway, Tobias Harris, let's go.
Just one more point on that Tobias Harris, because I thought it was very critical. Yeah, he made Joe Harris's life on defense hell. And I think that plays into how Joe Harris plays on offense. He just exerts too much energy trying to defend Harris on the post. And he just doesn't have the same lift, the same energy to shoot three-pointers, man. This guy's one of the most lethal three-point shooters in the NBA. And again, once again, you don't hear his name when he plays against the Sixers. And I think a big thing is Tobias for that reason.
The Sixers had in the first half, 72% of the Sixers' big three, Ben, Joel, Tobias, I'm responding to this comment here, of the offense from the big three. Overall, 67% from the big three tonight. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Definitely.
Our man is
now
gone.
I want to say, am I frozen? Here we go. Sorry, guys.
He's back.
My player of the game definitely goes to the Nets coach, Steve Nash, for keeping Kyrie out of the fourth quarter, because I can promise you this game would have gotten so much scarier at the end like Quentin Moore said, if Kyrie was in the fourth quarter of this game, because it obviously the fourth was a little scary, but that kind of stuff happens sometimes when you start slowing down. So hopefully we can get that together and start ending games a little better. I do think some of that had to deal with Dwight Howard not being in the lineup at times at the end before they brought the starters back. Go ahead, Dibs, you got something to say?
And Ben Simmons Simmons defense. Again, 87 minutes, 2 turnovers, 18 assists. Let's go. Ben Simmons is playing great basketball, playing great defense. He's not putting up the scoring points, but he's getting it done, getting others involved.
And speaking of getting it done and getting others involved, guys, drop a like on the video. Comment when this video ends, because your comments while we're live do not stay in our comments on the video. So please go down, comment your thoughts about the game, thoughts about the show, thoughts about TPL, thoughts about Mike Scott and whether he should be playing over Anthony Tolliver. Talk about everything. Just let us know your opinions, guys. We appreciate you hanging out. Like we said, drop a like. We'll be back for the next game. I got my man Tiago. Go follow him on Twitter. Go check out thepaintedlides.com, where both Mr. Crockpot and Tiago put out some great content, great articles on football, basketball, baseball, everything. You name it, we got it. So go check that out on thepaintedlides.com, like I said. And if you're not already, subscribe. If you're not, I don't understand why you're not, because we got all Philly sports here and more. So please stick around for this ad as well. Guys, we will see you next time. Have a great night.
Hey, what's up, guys? March Madness is here. The NBA and NHL are both in full swing. Baseball opening day is coming up, while we here at the Painted Lines are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports. We are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. Turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup in on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that